Welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute devotional podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse. Broadcast from the ever-beautiful Sharonville, Ohio, on the sunny side of Cincinnati. Hey there, friends. Welcome back to Daily Dose Radio here in the Bible Bistro. And yes, indeed, you found it. This is the only 5-minute-a-day Bible study studying the Psalms verse by verse that has a reduced carbon footprint. This is Daily Dose Radio. Yep, no carbons were used or harmed in the making of this program. Just want to make you aware of that. So today, actually all this week, we're looking at Psalm 138. Psalm 138 is what I want to call a me and thee psalm. This is a psalm of David, and I think as we study the psalm this week, we're going to find out just how much like David this is. So it's a psalm of David, and we're going to say, yeah, this is David. It's just so much like him. And the poetry here, the way the psalm is constructed, the way it is framed, the intimacy of this psalm. As I said, it's a me and thee psalm. We're going to see those two words or those ideas expressed over and over and over again here in this particular psalm. This psalm is divided into two pieces, 1 through 4 and 5 through 8. So 4 verses each. So he begins in verses 1 and 2, and that's what I'm going to read for you today. Verses 1 and 2. I will praise thee with my whole heart. Before the gods will I sing praise unto thee. I will worship toward thy holy temple, and praise thy name, for thy loving kindness, and for thy truth. For thou hast magnified thy word above all thy name. Now that's verses 1 and 2 here in Psalm 138. Do you see the Lord's name in there anywhere? This is how intimate this is. David's having a conversation with the Lord, and it's like we just walk in. We suddenly hear this conversation happening. He has not begun this with an address to the Lord. It's almost like we're beginning in the middle. He's already started the conversation, and now we're hearing it. I will praise thee with my whole heart. Who's he talking to? Before the gods will I sing praise unto thee. What gods is he talking about? I will worship toward thy holy temple. Oh, now we get an idea. And praise thy name for thy loving kindness and for thy truth. Now we know who he's talking about, but he still hasn't named who he's talking about. So let's go back. I will praise thee with my whole heart. David, as I said, we walk in on this conversation, and he's describing how he's going to worship the Lord. He's telling the Lord, this is what I want. I want to worship you with my whole heart. My intention is to worship you with the whole heart. And before the gods. So it doesn't matter who hears me. It can be the imagined gods of men. It can be the men themselves who think they're something. It doesn't matter. I will stand before you and I will praise you. So he is telling the Lord that no matter what, I'm going to praise you my whole heart, and I will do it before the whole congregation, before everybody. Doesn't matter whether they like it or not, whether they want to hear it or not, they're going to hear me sing and praise you. I will worship toward thy holy temple. So now we get an idea of who he's talking about, or two, because there's only one holy temple, and that's the Lord God's temple. And praise thy name for thy loving kindness and for thy truth. Now you just immediately you see the me and thee ideas here. I will sing praise. Then we have thee, thy, thou, thy. So the first person singular, the second person singular is very intimate. It's being used over and over again. His loving kindness is mentioned. We know that that's an attribute of the Lord. His truth is mentioned. We know that that's an attribute of the Lord. His word is mentioned. We know that that's one of the 10 words used in Psalm 119. His word is truth, and he has magnified that word above all of his name. And so his name is glorified above all things. And now David says your word has been magnified above that. So we know who he's talking about, but we're going to find out next time because he's going to give us his name directly. So I hope you'll join me then on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. I'm David Smith. The music today has been performed by the Bluegrass Experiment. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you next time on Daily Dose Radio.